How good does it feel to be out there playing football again after the injury last year?
Good. After any injury like that, you kind of just question things again. You kind of reevaluate, everything. And right after that injury, I had it in my mind. I'm coming back. Not necessarily, back for another year, but I was just like, I'm going to make it back this season, at some point. And so having that in my mind definitely helped me come back.
Do you feel like you have a new appreciation for the sport kind of after having it put in jeopardy like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had injuries, throughout my career. That was one of the biggest ones. So missing a season like that after, playing pretty well is tough. But, like as you said, I think I am so much more grateful, this year and every day coming up here and not taking things for granted.
What was the decision process for you? Where, again, some folks on the outside go, well, he got hurt, so naturally he's going to come back for another year.
Yeah.
But it's a 6th year for you, so it's not just an absolute.
Yeah.
So what was your thought process in terms of coming back for another go versus trying to get paid today?
Yeah. That was definitely a thought in my mind, going out through that whole season. I knew I wanted to play in the bowl game, and I was able to do that, fortunately.
Chase Code over here.
I didn't know what to do. And when, Coach Landon got hired, and I saw those guys come in, and I'm like, I felt overall just that it was a better decision to come back. More money to be made. Hopefully, if I have a good season this year, looking ahead to the NFL draft next year.
You don't have to disclose anything on your end, but a lot of situations like this, the NIL could factor into helping a player say, I'm going to stay a year because I can now have the opportunity to make money while you're in school. Like,
yeah.
Do you see that on your end as a factor?
100%. And obviously, NIL is going to, it's going to change up the whole game. It already has been in terms of recruiting, all that stuff. But, for me, that was definitely a thing that factored in. I'm thinking, well, there is money to be made. Obviously, it's not going to compare to, what it would look like, going to the draft. And that's ultimately my main goal. But, yeah, it's nice to have a little extra money in your pocket.
So that factored into your decision?
Yeah, a little bit, especially at a place like this, right? Like, you're not going to go anywhere else. Especially looking, at transferring or anything like that, right. You wouldn't go anywhere else that you would be better than this in terms of NIL deals and stuff. And I just was I was feeling a good sense of family within the team, not necessarily the coaches, because that's going to change and stuff. But a lot of factors that came into that decision.
Do you think that's the reason why a lot of the guys transferred to Oregon too? You got like Christian coming in here, a few other guys transferred in. Do you think that NIL is a reason for that?
I think it always will play in. Like there's it might not be the main focus, and for some guys it might be, or the main reason that somebody comes here. Like for Gonzo, I don't think that's, the main thing that brought him here, but you look at Oregon as a whole, as a brand, as a program, and why wouldn't you want to be here? That's how I look at it.
How's spring been going for you and being back in this kind of competitive spot with you and Jamal as opposed to just one of you guys moving back purely to deep safety? I'm sure you both very much want to play a whole bunch, and that was kind of the plan last year too, but what how spring kind of looks so far?
Spring's been awesome so far. We're having a lot of fun, and being able to now it's like me and Jamal aren't really competing anymore. We are every day, what I'm saying, pushing each other to get better, but at this point we're learning all different positions. I'm playing the star, learning the boundary really well, as well as the free safety, and dime position. So I'm learning a lot of different stuff. I don't feel like I'm competing at any spot necessarily, but just trying to get myself as good as possible.
When you're learning all those spots with what they do in simulated pressure, and I know Coach Pallage had done quite a bit of it at Baylor, and obviously Dan had done a lot of it at Georgia.
Yeah.
Putting that many more pieces, because nickel does a good amount of that already, but to do it from the deep safety spots as well on a down-to-down basis potentially.
Yeah.
How different is that than what you were doing previously?
It's different. This defense, I can't say enough about. I'm so excited to get to play in it, and just the stuff that we've already put in these, 2 weeks of spring ball is so far advanced, so far ahead of anything that I've learned. But that's perfect. Looking at it from a personal level, perfect for me. In that transition to the NFL, and I think we're going to confuse so many offenses this year. Just with the different looks that we give, we're going to play a physical brand of football, but those guys are Coach Lanning and Coach Lapoy are geniuses back there. So
who are some of the guys you're watching tape of in terms of how it applies to you? I'm trying to remember who their nickel was. Ringo was there.
Ringo played corner.
Okay.
I look at
Seen at all?
I look at Petrie from Baylor. So, and that's not necessarily scheme wise, but just in the way that Coach Pallage had him playing. I watched his film and try and play a similar brand of ball. Ringo, Seen whatever, number 16. Look at his a lot. I'm playing boundary safety, so look at a lot of his film and stuff. Yeah, those guys. That's a good tape you want to watch for sure to model a defense.
With a new position coach in Pallage, just what's that relationship been like? Learning, what he wants out of your position and just how things are run. How's that been?
I like the guy a lot. Just as a person, first and foremost. Great dude. As a coach, he's brilliant. Just on top of everything, really, really technical. And so that's something that I've been, exposed some of my weaknesses in terms of footwork and just technique and stuff. I'm a very instinctive player, so, honing those things in and getting that down will make me, take me to that next level and make me an elite player.
How much more difficult is that aspect when you guys have this positional rotating and, like you said, you're kind of working at a couple different spots?
What was the start of that question? Sorry.
How difficult
Okay,
is that? Is kind of tapping into that technique?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a load on me in terms of learning all the positions, but I feel like I'm handling it pretty well. Just takes extra time in the film room. You know what I'm saying? Anything can be accomplished with a little more work and. So I've been, in the film room, working with Coach Pallage, meeting, extra with Coach Lorig, who's our stars coach, just to make sure I, have it all down so I don't go out there and not know what I'm doing at any given position.
When Coach Lanning talks about increasing the havoc rate, and you guys are losing the nation's leader in interceptions, and the quarterback of the defense,
Yep.
and you're a leader in pass rush, and there's a drop there, and you guys are lacking in sacks.
Yeah.
You were a guy who was creating a lot of havoc when you were on the field.
Yeah.
How much of an onus do you feel that when you are out there, that role, whether it's you or Jamal for that matter,
Yeah.
is a big part of what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
So you always want to cause disruption, but what you do is so important to getting that done.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that we, as a defense, one of our main goals, our identities, is ball excellence, right? And making plays with the ball, and that's something I definitely pride myself on. And I think, that ball disruption and getting, making havoc plays, whether, we're going to be solid as a defense, right? Not give up too many yards, but you get those type of big plays, and that changes the game. And you look at, like, you get +1 in the turnover ratio, and it's like you get a 68% chance to win. You get +2 in the turnover ratio, now it's up to, like, almost 90%, right? So we can, create 1 or 2 of those plays a game. Hopefully we're looking for 3. And it, changes the whole tide of the game. And so for guys like me, guys like Maul, who can get their hands on balls and fly around and be disruptive like that, that's huge in terms of what, Coach Lanning and LaPointe are looking for.
How much are you bouncing between position rooms? Like, are you with Pallage and Lorig? Are you with one?
Yeah, so I've been doing both.
Both?
On any given day, week, what I'm saying? It could be I'm with the Stars for a week, and then over, like, today I was back with the safeties for the first time. And it's just to have a balance. So I'm not forgetting stuff or installs, for one position against the other. So I've been, bouncing back and forth.
Have they given you a timeline on how long they want that to continue? Or do you think this could be something that carries on to the season where you're swapping positions?
Yeah, no, there's no timeline on that. I think I'm fully prepared for this season to be playing whatever position. And I'm sure it's going to be more than just one throughout the season, right? Like, I won't just be put at just one position. I'm fully prepared. I don't think it'll be a meeting room swap every day type of deal, but there'll definitely be a mix of all that stuff. So I'm going to be ready to play at any position and play at elite.
Camden Lewis brought up there's been some changes with more reps for his side of special teams. You're a guy that's been on a lot of units. Are you seeing any changes special teams wise with this new staff?
Special teams it's a main focus. We start every day with it, and we do. Every day we do fundamentals, five minutes of daily skill fundamentals, to start every practice that most people don't get. We didn't necessarily get, last year. So putting that emphasis on special teams, and you saw, Coach Lorig at Penn State, their special teams was, really, really good, top in the country. Because of the stuff they do, they keep it simple and they do it fast. And so we put a lot of time into special teams, and you can see it already. It's taking shape, and it looks good so far.
How different or similar is scrape the paint versus save the block, the techniques?
Similar. Yeah, very similar. Save the block. I don't think we had as much technique necessarily in save the block as this scrape the paint. It's a little more. Yeah, technique. There's a little more technique.
And you're not going to be running around with your hands up. Your palms are not going to be
right. We're not putting our hands up because that looks like you're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So save the block. You want to obviously get your body in front, but make it look like a block, and it should be a block to just get in front of between the defender and the returner.
And you talked a little bit about Gonzo earlier. Coach Lanning said that he was more of like a silent, shy leader. Have you seen that at all?
Yeah, so I love Gonzo. He's an incredible player and going to be really, really good for us at corner this year. He's not going to be a rah-rah guy, not out there super talkative. Kind of like a silent assassin. I like that nickname. Might have to throw that on him.
Yeah.
But he is. He's quiet. He's not going to say much. Not going to celebrate. Talk a lot of crap in your face. But man, the way he plays speaks for itself.
Why do you love him?
I love the kid. He's a great kid. And that's how I always judge. Judge off the character first. And so that's super important to me. And just hearing him open up a little bit from being that shy kid to now he's starting to get more comfortable with us guys, and it's just really good to see. And I love his work ethic. I love the way he plays the game. He's just tenacious, and I love that.
Verone was obviously such a vocal leader, like James said, he was the quarterback back there. Who do you think has kind of filled that void the most?
I hate to be like that. I hate to, say that guys are coming in and have to replace somebody or you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be a different identity for every defense. We got guys back there, Triquez and B.A., Brian Addison, Steve, that are going to be able to play, multiple positions. Those guys are super long, right? Different from what Verone was going to give you. They're long and rangy. And now I think, it's going to have to be more of a collective effort. As a defense, we're all going to have to be on the same page. You can't rely on, Verone back there to, correct your mistakes, possibly. But, and I think it'll put, a little more pressure on all of us to be able to communicate. So it's going to be, I think it'll be good for us, to be honest, to try and find that replacement.